It's Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com. Let's talk about what people are not really talking about, and I'm seeing it more in Facebook groups. But I talk to doctors all the time, and not only my own life experiences, my family life experiences, these doctors I talk to, I have a lot of stories that are in my head. And I have a lot of advice. I'm kind of like an old babushka. I got advice for you in dentistry, and you can come talk to me. It doesn't cost anything. I'm happy to chit chat with you. If you want someone who's been out over 20 years and maybe has some tips of the mistakes I've made and others have made and can stop you from making the same mistakes. So, first of all, when we're in dental school, this is what we see. Teeth equals money. Teeth, money, teeth, money, teeth, money. As long as you're a dentist, as long as you graduate, you will make money. That's all we heard. So we just did our thing. Now, some really stupid things classmates of mine did. I know one person, and again, I'm not going to give away names or anything to let you know who they are, but I know this one person who was getting money from his or her parents for gas and car insurance and some rent and travel back home and stuff like that. So really didn't need to borrow that much money, maybe only for tuition, but you can borrow money for your tuition, your supplies, and equipment, and you can also borrow for living, room and board, right? And then there's an amount that you can borrow that is set by the university. However, it's on a slightly sliding scale. So if you have dependents or if you over a certain age, I think it might be 30, they often can give you more because they figure you have a higher standard of living or different needs than someone who's just like 23. So be careful. Do not take out more loans than you need to. If you're taking out loans, you should take the bare basic loans. Definitely never ever any private loans. I would rather have you eating in a soup kitchen than take out a private loan. Trust me, those will balloon up. They're going to end up being like credit card interest. They're going to be an absolute nightmare later. Do not take out private loans. Subsidized Stafford loans, whatever. I don't care. I think I took them out, didn't really need them, and just invested them. And then later had some extra spending money. And now I'm paying them back at 1.4%. Maybe it's 1.61%, but yeah, I'm in no hurry to pay those suckers off. At 1.61%, it is well under inflation, and I'd rather keep that money invested. Okay, so that's that. Don't borrow too much money. Be very careful where you go to school. Don't try to go for the shiny school. Go for the one that costs the less, but will also teach you. Let me say that. I mean, there's some programs where it's either just so old school what they're teaching you, or you're just like slaves, not ones. And you don't want ones where, I don't know. I mean, I don't like the ones where you have to do like 10 crowns. You have to do 10 anterior root canals. I really like the way that UCSF did it. They may not still do it this way, but they call them relative value units or RVUs. And you just got points. Like it's basically like production for each procedure. Now you could, if you wanted to trade around, you could, I think you had to do one of everything. So one denture, one partial, one posterior endo, one anterior endo. It was like that, right? One gold crown, one ceramic crown. It was quite doable. It was very much doable. And you could trade with your friends and everything. But it wasn't like total stress, because that is the worst, man. You got to get total stress. All right, anyway, so that's what we're hearing in dental school. And then honestly, reality hits hard, man. It is hard. You have to live like a student those first 5 to 10 years, and not everyone does, unfortunately. A lot of people getting flashy, getting new cars, and that is a huge mistake. Also, rushing in to have kids right after you graduate, that might not be the best idea, because you really should be living like a student, and there's no way to live like a student when you have a kid unless you live at home and your parents are taking care of your kid. Then that might be okay. But paying for daycare or nannies, forget it. That's adding an extra 5 figures at least onto your costs, possibly more if you have to have 2 like we did. I mean, that is ridiculous, and you really cannot write off that. You can write off some stuff. If it's an official daycare, you can write it up. That's the thing. But we really didn't want to do daycare because we didn't feel comfortable with it. They're just hotbeds of, festering germs, basically. And for the most part, there's too many kids. The adult to kid ratio isn't great. And we thought it's better that they got taken care of in their own home. Once they were 2, then we were able to put them in a very limited preschool program, which is only a few hours a day, which was learning and collaborating and teamwork, art, music, everything, fun stuff. But learning. And then they go home to nap, and they go home to play, and they go home to sleep. you know? But anyways, keep your debt low, low, low. Be really careful. I mean, pick the right office. If you're going to do a DSO or an OSO, you got to pick wisely, because a lot of times most of the time, you're going to get treated really badly. And I'm not going to use the S word, what you're going to be treated by, but you're going to be treated very, very badly. It's going to be nice initially, and then they're going to start treating you badly. Really manipulated, taken care of, treatment gets dictated. It is just some of the sketchy stuff that happens there is just so below standard of care. I had to get out after a few years. I was like, you know what? I learned what I needed to learn. I'm out. I'm going to do dentistry the right way. So be careful at what school you choose. Be careful how much you spend while you're in school. And then when you get out, live like a student another 5 to 10 years. Live like a student until you've at least paid your student loans on your practice loans off. And that might be into your 50s or 60s. Is not as lucrative as people think. So just consider this before you go into dentistry. All right, thanks.